I'm going to call the meeting to order. Sorry to cut conversation short. We do have a quorum. Missing tonight is Rachel Morris, but she notified us ahead of time. Are there any additions or adjustments you have, Brian? I'm going to add one addition to the agenda. We'll put it after other items, and it's going to be electing a new chair. Next will be consent agenda, approved minutes of February 5th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Nicole already beat you to it.
No, she's too quiet,
No, you just might be too loud.
too mouthy.
Yes.
Here we go.
Does anyone have any
Trouble
questions?
is, I know it.
Anyone have any questions or comments?
Actually, I wasn't here, so can I even second it?
You can second it, but you have,
I
I would
will.
recommend abstaining.
Yeah.
So who did the motion a second? Sorry.
Tim motion and Nicole seconded.
Thank you.
All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions?
3-3. I didn't
So
see
it's
it.
3-4.
Oh, 4, okay. I didn't see it.
You
You
abstained,
abstained,
right?
right, Betsy?
Yeah.
I did not abstain.
Oh, you
Me
did?
and Tim did.
Oh, sorry.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm not a voting member, so.
all right. So I guess I didn't get who did.
All right, let's do that one more
Yeah,
time.
one
All
more
in
time.
favor?
1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you. Sorry, Betsy. Missed you.
Okay.
Okay, got it. All right. And then 4 abstain. Nope, 3 abstain.
Yeah.
Okay.
3-0-3.
Apparently math is hard for you today.
I said 4, didn't I? That's why I confused her. My bad.
It's okay.
Business
All right.
manager can't do math.
Next is audience with the public. Is there anyone here tonight that wants to speak? We don't have a sign-up sheet, but I welcome comments. All right, we will move on. Straight to action items. Brian, you're up.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Few folks in the audience I wanted to point out, Carrie Warnes from Energy Efficiency Investment. Sarah Davis, obviously everybody knows, and Myrna Sol Robbins, who is one of our bus drivers in the district, specifically in the Washington area and for Crystal. So anyways, wanted to give you just kind of a quick update on several items, as you can see as we work down through there. The first one is the Madomic Valley High School water. As you know here, we've been working along through several challenges. Started out with a well that went dry. After looking at multiple options, we determined that fracking was probably hydraulic fracturing, or fracking as they call it, was the best course of action. We knew from our water quality guy that fracking the well was going to trigger a enhanced level of water quality testing by the state Maine drinking water. We didn't see a better option. Drilling a new well would have been more timely, and it would have had the same requirements as far as testing goes. So we did the water fracturing, and we also replaced the well pump head. Everything was great. We're getting a lot of water, which is terrific. We did our first test, and one of our biggest ones that we have a problem with is our arsenic levels. And I have talked with the board about the arsenic levels that we've been bumping up against that threshold over the last couple of years, and we had actually already previously programmed to install an arsenic treatment system into the high school this upcoming summer as part of the biomass building, that would then open up the space in the boiler room to be able to put the arsenic treatment system that takes significant space. Unfortunately, the first test that we took after hydrofracturing, we were well above the state of Maine threshold. And even though we came back a week later and we came back in under the threshold, Maine Drinking Water said that until we get an arsenic treatment plant, that they're gonna keep us on a do not drink water order. So we've been doing bottled water for some time now. I think that we've gone through about every step to try to readdress with the state, and they're not going to. So I just wanted to let you all know that we will be on bottled water at the high school for drinking water through the remainder of the school year.
Wow.
Which is certainly unfortunate, but it was certainly a known consequence when we fractured the well. And it was, I still think it was the right choice. Well, there wasn't really no other choice. Drilling and trying to run new lines and all that was, would have been that much longer. And I'm not sure that it would have changed the results any by moving the well a little bit.
It's worth noting that the night Brian and I were there, the well refill rate was under 5 gallons a minute. Now we are well over 50. So our supply is better. The fracking opened up multiple veins of clean, new water. I simply want to say this publicly, that the test came back negative the second time. Everyone knows the first test after fracking is going to come back dirty. So it only makes sense the second one would be a more honest test and reflect what our actual levels are and what the state probably should be basing it off of. Brian has tried to appeal this multiple times. He and I have had extensive conversations about this. And I just want to say it publicly that I'm pretty disappointed in the Maine drinking water for the decision. It's costing us money that is not, I don't know, I don't want to say fair, but I don't believe it's right. We are well below the threshold, and they understood what we had done when we submitted the testing. So.
Can you do a third test? Would that be any different?
It wouldn't matter at this point.
They're not
The problem
they're not
was is
open
that
till
we had
May for
eclipsed the threshold sufficient times that regardless, so there's two parts on the arsenic piece specifically. There is the monthly test and then there is a quarterly average. Unfortunately, even though we were below on the quarterly average, we had eclipsed the monthly, we had eclipsed the threshold sufficient times that it was they considered it to be a big enough threat to shut down the drinking water portion of it. Even though we're now down lower, I mean, we're still not in great shape by any stretch of the imagination, but we're lower than we've been in a couple of years on the arsenic levels. And today, the peak flow from the well was 48.4 gallons per minute. So, yeah, we've almost 10 times more water that we're getting. So hopefully that will continue to hold. So once we get the new treatment system, get a larger storage tank, that'll at least be one portion of the issues we've got at the Dominic Mountain High School remedied.
Betsy?
I don't know how much this water is costing, and I don't know how you're distributing it. Is it possible for us to go to Polar or Poland Springs and try to get water donated?
I had not done that, but I can certainly.
I don't know. I mean, somebody out there might realize that we're in need and they might want to help us.
I do know we get water by the pallet at a discount.
Okay.
So
Are they bottles or?
8-ounce bottles.
Because I wonder,
Pardon me.
I obviously encourage parents and family members to send their children with water bottles from home.
Yeah.
Because anyway, that's a lot of plastic and also, expensive. If we set up, instead of giving out a bunch of water bottles, having stations where they could fill up a cup of water if they need a drink,
That's a
maybe
good
you wouldn't spend as much on bottled water, and they would be like, cause I'm thinking it's a high school student, and it's easy enough, I'll just grab a bottle at school and not bring one from home. But if they have to actually pour it into a cup and go through all that, maybe they'll just bring their own water bottle.
Understood.
A lot of kids walk around with their Yeti. I mean, a lot of, it's sort of standard to have your Yeti with you.
Yeah.
Good ideas.
anyone else have any other questions on the MVHS water?
I just wanted to thank Brian for everything he's done. It again illustrates why this bond is so important. We had to cancel school because we didn't have water. And that could happen anywhere, but it just, we're doing the right things, is all I'm saying, by trying to move this forward and help everybody.
Me ask.
So the only reason I put this down is that I met with a group of staff members from the Dominic Valley High School who are working on the facilities portion of the kind of self-assessment of the high school as we go through the full assessment from NEASC as we build up to that. And in preparation for that meeting, I did a little bit of work and I put together a list of the projects that we've completed in the high school since I got here in 2020. And so you can see we've done a fair amount of work, but unfortunately, it is not sufficient. But we have made some pretty good progress along the way, especially on the ventilation and some of the, just a little bit of everything, windows, doors, you name it. And we've been plugging away at it. But even when you look at all of the list that has been accomplished, it's really, it touches on the tips of the issues, but doesn't really get to the root issues that we've got going on in high school. And I shamelessly put down the walk-off mats that everybody probably can see, and they're like, what does that have to do with anything? I always like to talk about our workman's comp premiums and how much they've gone down over the last few years. And for ice and snow removal, as well as some of the safety in the schools. And those mats have, played a pretty key role in that. And we've dropped our premiums about $200,000 a year since 2019. So some of these things are definitely well worthwhile. The biomass boiler, had a great meeting today with Carrie and her team. And as far as getting going, we go before the Waldoboro Planning Board and Select Board at the beginning of next month. And then we're all ready to get started digging and moving that forward. As I mentioned, one of the key parts of this will be disassembling our existing boilers at the high school so we can get that water treatment system going, up and going, and be able to get it certified by the state in plenty of time so that we're ready to go for the summer. So I didn't know if there was any questions on that, but I think we're in pretty good shape and we got a good plan and we're ready to get moving. I know I'm excited to get going on it for sure.
What's the date of that planning board meeting, do you know?
The 9th, Sarah, do you remember by any chance? The planning board, and we talked about it today.
Yes,
The 9th is the planning board and the select.
The planning board is the 9th and the select board is the 14th. At 6 o'clock.
Asbestos remediation. So as everybody knows, we got a revolving renovation loan. The state selected us for a grant. It kind of puts us in a precarious situation because we've got this grant to take care of asbestos remediation. We also have a bond. And the remediation, the revolving renovation loan has basically 2 years that we have to execute the work within that, with that monies. 2 parts to it, obviously. You pull up the old asbestos, you grind everything down to cement floor, and then in a perfect world, you then turn right around and you put tile right back down on the floor afterwards. With the bond, as part of the bond, there is significant work that we're gonna be doing on sewer lines and things like that. Those sewer lines run right down through the middle of all the hallways that we're gonna be remediating asbestos tile. If the bond passes, one of the likely possibilities is that we will have a year where we will have the tile removed, have everything ground down to smooth cement, and that would be for a year, so that the next year we follow on, we do the jackhammer and replace the sewerage lines, fill in that, and then put the new tile back down again. If the bond, for whatever reason, doesn't pass, then at that point, we're gonna have to make a decision if we wanna wait for another vote or just what we wanna do. I mean, we can't put it off for forever, but certainly it's, I would hate to put down brand new tile and then all of a sudden have a bond go forward and we've just gotta turn right around and rip that brand new tile up. So I will talk to you more about that, but there's a lot of things that with the revolving renovation loan that we're continuing to work through and discussing, and I will bring those to you as I get complete information and I can provide you and looking for some guidance.
Tim?
Out of curiosity, if we're taking up all of the asbestos and grinding down and just having smooth concrete, is there a reason that we couldn't just seal the concrete or have epoxy floor versus going through the cost of putting all of the tile back in?
I don't know. I would have to, I'm
It's just
certainly,
a thought.
flooring is not my expertise, but polished concrete would easily be done, right?
It looks cool.
Yeah,
It's just a thought.
yeah.
Polished concrete is really in,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a thing.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is. It's just incredibly expensive. I was making a little bit of a joke.
It's,
Yeah, it's.
it's
yeah,
more
it's-
expensive than the tile?
That's, yeah,
Oh.
by orders of
Significant
magnitude. But it does look amazing. I agree with you wholeheartedly, and it's very much in favor.
Nicole?
The loan, you said, you have to complete all of this asbestos remediation in 2 years?
We have until 2027 to complete all work with the revolving renovation, within the 3 revolving renovation loans. All the work and all for each of the 3 projects has to be completed.
And we expect, like, if the bond does pass, that we fit in that timeline for that?
We could easily fit in the timeline. That doesn't pose any problem. The issue is with the bond, there's additional work that we have to do to the floors. And so what I don't wanna do is put down tile
Right.
on top of, after remediating the asbestos.
And so if you're getting rid of all this asbestos, are the kids still in school when this is happening and like sections of the building are shut off, or how?
Great question. That would, all the work, particularly the asbestos, is done in the summertime. The building is basically shut off to everybody but the technicians, the remediation technicians.
But you said that we still have to drill through to do the water lines and all that.
That's correct. So they would pull up the asbestos tile. There is asbestos glue. The adhesive that they use on that is also an asbestos product. And so they'll need to get rid of that as well. All of that would go out and they grind down with grinders with vacuums on it, so to make sure that there is no asbestos remaining. And then at that point, we either put down new tile, or if we're gonna be doing some of this work on the sewers, then at that point, we would have to jackhammer out the cement, the existing cement that's there. And then fill that back in again once we put in new sewer pipes.
But that amount of work will all fit into the summer.
Summers, more than one.
Yeah, 2,
Oh, okay.
that's why with the bond, we would have to probably go to school, and I'm sorry, I'm not articulating myself very clearly. With the bond passes, we've got this additional sewer work that we need to be done that we could not fit all in one summer.
Oh,
So we would pull the asbestos tile, we would prep all the floors to get rid of, remediate all the asbestos. We'd go to school for a year
with no flooring.
with no flooring down, with
Okay.
cement as the floor.
Okay.
And then the next summer, we'd come in, jackhammer, do the sewer lines we need, replace the broken up concrete, and then put down flooring or whatever we decide to finish that off with.
And one of the revolving renovation loans is not related to the high school. That's
Oh.
here at Union.
Oh.
So that would be on its own timeline, but they all have to be done by September of 2027.
Betsy?
I'm sorry, I should probably know this. Is this the entire floor, like the hallways and classrooms? I mean, just the entire,
About 70 some odd % of the school.
okay.
Yep.
Just,
Yeah, it's the vast majority of the school that is affected by this. If you'd like, I've actually got in our asbestos report that we just had done this summer. I can make some photocopies to show exactly what that looks like. Actually, I think in Ann's presentation that we'll be getting, there is a depiction of the areas that have asbestos.
Typically a really expensive procedure.
Extremely.
Yeah, so we're lucky that they give us a grant.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's.
Have we tried every year since you've worked here?
Yes, yep.
Apparently they just wanted us to go away. Give it to them.
Carrie is the one who did all the work on those submissions. And this is the highest, we're number 2, right?
Yep, number 2,
Yeah.
on top of a roof that had basically caved in, so.
So it was, Carrie did awesome.
It's almost 3% of the entire bond amount will be what we were awarded in asbestos remediation.
Wow.
So it's a massive help to make the rest of the bond go further. So,
And the bond, they also gave us water, monies, a grant for the water system at the high school, which we had already had programmed in for what is phase 3 of the work that we've been doing, the roof, the biomass building, and so we also had money out of that pot of money that was identified for the water treatment system. So we'll be able to reallocate that for use in some of the other projects that need to be completed.
Nice.
It's a win-win. The revolving renovation loans are amazing. I mean, we're gonna be paying back, I think 47% of the loan.
42.
is- What's that?
42,
Sorry, there you go.
talking about numbers first.
Yeah, I was about to say, there it is.
Right, 42 better than 47.
And that's a 0% as well, yes, on the payback?
Correct.
Yes, yeah, that's great.
One thing I would mention is that it's important that that fits into the context of the bigger conversation of what goes on the warrant this year. Because we're going to have the operating budget, which is why we've been working so hard to get the operating budget to be as reasonable as possible in light of the financial issues that we faced going into the budget, combined with the warrant article there's 3 warrant articles for the revolving renovation loans, and then there's gonna be a warrant article for the bond probably after tonight, if you all decide to do that. We've been talking about whether or not, as discussed at the budget committee recently, even though it's hard, it might make sense not to put a warrant article out for a special education contingency fund. Even though it doesn't cost anything, it's just a number of items. So I just want to be careful about the number. I'm thinking about the number of items on the warrant all at once, right? Context is important because although these are really great engaging conversations, everyone in this room and how many people are watching Ian at home right now? None. So.
They will be watching later.
Yeah, the folks that watch later might know that it's 42% and 0% interest. But the messaging is going to be so important before this warrant article hits the communities. So we just,
Can the contingency part go on into November?
I don't think so. I think you'd have to do it next year.
Oh.
But you haven't had one, so.
The contingencies, Tom, are actually voted on at the district budget meeting and are not part of the polls.
Oh, they don't go to the polls? Oh, okay, great. So they only go to that public meeting?
Correct.
Oh, great, okay, I did not know that. That's different in Maine.
not
So,
that we're trying to hide those. I want to be
Correct.
clear.
It's just,
Yeah, I
it's
just
just
want
the way
every-
it's done because it's a movement of money, it's not
Right.
actual money.
it's not actual
I
money,
mean,
we're not.
it is real money, but
we're
it's
not
money we
appropriating,
already,
but yeah.
it's not additional money we're asking for, we're moving money around we already have. So it's done at the district budget meeting. The only ones that go to the polls are additional money. Which
Well, that is a relief.
the
because-
general fund and then the bond and, the revolving renovation.
Could you please share that tonight at the board meeting, because some people who aren't here don't know that. So that's a really important thing
So
to share
there'll
with
be
people.
3 things, potentially 3 things for people to vote on.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do-
and I'm pretty sure the revolving renovation loans will be able to be one ballot, but I wanna confirm that.
Anyone
That'd be
else
great.
have any other questions on asbestos remediation?
So bus ride, got some good news here.
Oh, I'm excited.
Sarah Davis and Cooper Dahlberg, who, from Ian's team, they've been working nonstop, trying to get this thing ready to go. And, the parent app was deployed for Waldeboro students, today. And we're gonna do a quick beta test, see if we're getting any bugs, and if everything goes well, then we'll be deploying the parent app to each of the other towns, kind of a staggered, couple-day stagger, just so that we don't get, if we run into any bugs, that we can fix them before we get multiple towns.
Yep.
But, so far, it's been pretty awesome. Sarah has had hers downloaded, for a couple of days, kind of tracking it, and it's definitely pretty cool. And you can set the notifications when you want, 5 minute, 10 minute, 15 minute. So it's definitely very cool. And if anybody's interested, I'm sure Sarah would share some,
Like set notifications to say, oh, it's time to go out for the bus?
yes, it's a notification, like
So
your bus will
cool.
be here and, your bus is leaving now, anticipated arrival time at your house is X.
Nice.
Then it will give you another notification like 15 minutes out, and then it will give you one at 5. If that's the settings that you set them at, you can
Yeah.
set them at, there are various choices to go from.
Cool.
But it's been a lot of hard work, and perseverance by Sarah and Cooper to make that thing work. And, it's a good thing Sarah's here, because I
Wasn't
thought
it
that was gonna be easy.
July that you were starting it, or June or something?
We started it
Like-
with the beginning of the new school year, yes, yeah, so it took us considerable time, which is why I'm lucky to have Sarah.
Yeah.
Because if it was me, we would have been in trouble. I'd still be trying to open up the computer.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, it's my pleasure.
The new bus, we have taken, ownership of the new, flat nose bus for the district, bus 9, servicing
Super shiny.
Waldeboro. If anybody has seen it coming down the road, it is, it's unbelievable. The new lighting, the LED lights that it has, it really sticks out significantly more, far more visible, when they're deploying the crossing arms, the stop lights, just everything is, you can see it significantly more, and the visibility from the driver's seat. And I don't have my bus license, but sitting in that seat and looking around, it's definitely pretty amazing, so.
They let
Where-
you sit in it?
But they did not know,
Oh.
Kim did not know that I was there, I'm sure, so.
The
We
keys
gotta
were.
keep that, we gotta keep that a secret.
Can I, add on to that? I've been asked by a couple people, when we, had the board, vote on that bus, because as you recall, it was more than $100,000, so we had to have, had the bank opine, the attorneys opine to the bank that we were good for the money. There was confusion in the community that the bus cost twice as much as our last bus, because when I said that the bus cost, if it cost more than $100,000, the bank expected an opinion from the attorneys. When we buy a bus, we make a payment the very day we receive the bus. When we make that payment, it makes the bus, our note, less than $100,000. In this case, it didn't make our note less than $100,000. So I want to be clear, the bus did not cost twice as much as the previous bus. It just did not make our note less than $100,000. So we had to get an opinion from the attorneys. Sometimes we have the manufacturer, in this case, we bought it from O'Connor's. Sometimes we have them put in the camera system, we have them put in the radio system, and other times we don't, we'll do it after. In this case, we had them do the camera, we had them do the radio, and this one had a tariff on it. So all of those things added to the whole loan, as well as it was a flat nose, so it had, I was looking here, our buses are usually 77 seats, and this one was 83, so it's a slightly bigger bus, so it was slightly more expensive. Our previous bus was around $155,000 a year, 15 months prior. So
And
this
that didn't
one,
include cameras.
and that did not include the
So
cameras,
I
the
think when
radios,
it was
and the
all said and
tariffs.
done, it was up in the 160s.
So,
This new one.
yeah.
The previous to this flat nose,
I see.
Yeah.
the last bus before that
So
one.
this bus itself, without the cameras and everything, was probably only about $10,000 more, it's just once we added the cameras and everything to the note. So I just wanted to clarify that confusion. There seems to be this idea that we made a decision to buy a bus that was twice as much. We did not. And the bus had been in the queue for 8 months or so. So this bus was not purchased because of anything related to what happened in RSU 13. We just happened to decide to buy a flat nose bus, and it just got held up in manufacturing for quite some period of time. So just wanted to mention that. Sorry to jump on your beautiful shiny bus.
Anytime we're talking money, I would prefer you to do it.
Do you see these short-faced buses being the trajectory that we're going to go in the future?
The only issue that we're having, that this was the last year, as I understand it, that they're gonna be making those with the engine in the front. And they're moving them to the back, and my understanding is that maintenance is more difficult on those. There are some challenges that makes them a little less appealing with the engine in the back. I have not studied it nearly enough to be able to make that assessment. And I know we're coming up on that time when we're gonna have to make a decision on the next bus. But I know that is definitely a concern that Ernie Vanna has, is going to the rear engine buses.
Any other committee members with questions? Rick, I saw your hand go up.
Yeah, it was just, Karen already mentioned it was the additional cost due to the tariff, because I think the public should know that too, where we don't usually have to pay a tariff on the bus, and this time it was about $5,000.
I think it was $5,000 or $6,000.
Yeah, so take that also in consideration too, so.
Van transportation, you all heard this 3 days ago when you were acting as the budget committee, but we are transporting a lot of kids right now in van. Next year, we are looking to add significant kids to those vans, particularly 4-year-olds. We've got 10 or 12 coming in that will require transportation. They all have 5-point harnesses, 10 kids, 4 to a van, so that's like 2.5 extra vans that's gonna be required right there. Now, some of that is going to be mitigated by if the 6th graders end up going to the middle school, because obviously that lowers the numbers that we would travel during the elementary. They'll be moved up with the high school. We're not nearly as tight as we are. But the van transportation, and why I am asking for 2 additional positions, and we've got vans right now, particularly on the elementary runs, that are making 2 full trips. They come in, they drop their first group of kids off at the regular drop-off time. For instance, at Miller School, which is the vast majority of our multiple trips, 8:30, the van drops off, goes back out. We have got 8 students arriving at 9:30?
9:30.
Yeah, 9:30. So, I bring that up because there is some learning loss that goes with that. Kids aren't getting as much time in school. That is the most extreme, I will readily admit that. The other kids are not necessarily losing nearly that much, but there's definitely, it's just, the system is stressed right now with the van transportation. And, we certainly want to get kids to school safe, and we understand that part, but that's why we're asking for more drivers and more vans.
Nicole?
But did I hear you say that if all the 6th graders do go to the middle school, that alleviates stress on the vans?
Well, it will alleviate some, for sure. The difference is a 6th grader, at least by the end of the year, can ride in the front seat, because they're old enough. And they don't take a car seat, so you can put 3 in the back row, for instance, of a regular van. When you're dealing with car seats, it's very difficult to put 3 car seats in the rear row of a van.
Yeah.
So it's more time consuming, you're getting them in and out of car seats, 5-point harnesses, just the whole process. You pull up to pick up a 6th grader, they come out, they hop in the van, they hook themselves up. The whole process takes more time. And certainly, again, as I've said, we want to make sure we're taking care of the kids and we're getting to school safe. But it is definitely a challenge. We're up at about 120 kids right now that we transport by van, or a little bus also. And we have 2 little buses that help in that. Of that, probably about 10 or 12 are students that we've chosen to transport by van, mostly out of safety, because where their homes are located is unsafe for a bus stop, particularly along the Route 1 corridor. We were having a lot of problems with vehicles blowing right through the lights. So there is that, and then the rest are kind of split up. McKinney-Vento, which is our unhomed students, DHHS directed transportation for students involved with that with the state, and then IEP, kids that have transportation in their IEPs. So the van drivers are busy.
We have one van currently, what'd you say, was a 2020 with 160,000 miles?
Yeah, something like that.
The vans are driving a lot, so it's, they're all over the place.
Yeah.
A van doesn't last as long as a bus does for mileage.
We're blowing transmissions pretty fast.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, our previous fleet of vans are certainly, we're down to just a couple left over. We've got all but two right now, full-time drivers have transitioned to new Sienna vans. But our very first Sienna van that we purchased, Sarah, 4 years ago, used, the pre-K van, was that 4 years ago?
3 or 4, yes.
Yeah, that was purchased used, and that one has already come to the end of life, the engine, seized on it, so.
And that probably didn't get as many miles as some of them.
Yes, we've got some big miles going on vans. We have a drive that starts going, from Union, goes to Rockland, doubles back to Liberty, goes from Liberty to Friendship, then grabs a student and delivers to Miller, and then has another run, and then in the afternoon, it's over to Rockland, down to Friendship, up to Liberty and back. I've driven that Friendship to Liberty run, and that's a late night.
Why do we go to Liberty and Rockland?
I'm sorry,
Why do we have to drive to Liberty and Rockland?
McKinney-Vento students?
Almost.
Unhomed students.
Required by law.
To come to our district?
It depends on where they resided and where they go.
So what we do, if we have students between our districts, is we'll usually share one direction or the other. So one district will do one way and the other district will do the other, but in this case, sometimes we'll do both and they'll reimburse us the difference,
The other district.
the other district. And then if it's DHHS, we do whatever they tell us. Because they're DHHS.
And we have to.
They don't know what to do.
So with those children, we have to do what they tell us.
I'm trying, like doing crunching numbers in my head and I'm thinking, vans are just rising in cost and you just said a bus is 160,000. Van Toyotas are 60 almost now,
Yeah,
like
we're paying
new.
50 to 60 usually, yeah. Yeah.
And then they don't last as long, so, I don't know.
Unfortunately, a lot of our van transports it's too far in between to be able to run a little van or a little bus. I would love to have a whole bunch of little buses where we could put a lot more students on.
Yeah.
And frankly, little buses they're safer, they're built the way run. It was only just a few years ago on Wagner Bridge that one of our little buses got hit by an oncoming vehicle, and it was unbelievable at how well the bus stood up compared to the truck that hit it that looked like it had gone through a compactor.
Wow.
But, I mean, it's a challenge, for sure.
Yeah.
Else have any other questions on van transportation or no? Seeing none?
We do have a little bit of time before this last one. I know we're gonna share it with the full board. We have got some videos back for community engagement, some short videos about the high school with the bond. I didn't know if everybody would like to see one of the short, they're just a couple of minutes and.
Short keep it.
I hear Brian's mugshots in one of them, so.
Now
He has a
we
mugshot?
definitely need to know.
Brian, which one do you want me to share?
Not
The one with
judging.
you?
Well,
Yes.
I am in both of them, but the HVAC one, I think I'm in less,
So the other one.
which is kind of weird.
I haven't seen Brian's picture in the post office.
Yeah,
Oh, look, there it is.
good point.
I'm not
They
sure if
still
the
do that,
volume
you
is turned
think?
up on this.
The 10, what
This
was it,
is
the
what the
top
kids
10 or
call
something, they
Penny?
used to put in the
No,
post
this is from
office.
the,
Oh,
they-
EI.
this is a professional video.
Okay.
This is, Carrie Worms is the one who, she and Ann Ketterer from Nova Studios are the ones who found this company, correct?
Yeah, we use Eric, who does these videos for a lot of our customers who are going out for work articles, want re-engagement or pre and post project, and he does a really good job at knowing how to ask the questions and what information should get pulled out that's the most important and highlight that in a shorter clip. So he's an awesome videographer.
Madomic Valley High School was built in 1968 as a reading, writing, arithmetic, and as the years have progressed, we start getting more specials that are required.
You have OT, occupational therapy, physical therapy.
So while the building may have held more students at one time, the amount of space that's necessary to house the programming that's required by law 60 years later is dramatically different.
And you try to adjust spaces to accommodate new requirements, makes it a challenge.
This building is dilapidated and way behind by 30 or 40 years from what most modern schools look and feel like. I mean, we're talking about a building that was built in an era where we didn't even have the internet. 30 years before the internet. This building was built before special education even existed. So the spaces in the building don't work for the needs of the students today and the laws that we are required to follow.
We have a problem with ADA compliance, particularly in the front office, because you cannot navigate a wheelchair to get to the school counseling offices unless a person goes in through the auditorium and winds their way through a foyer, a dark backstage area to come into the school counseling office and the office.
So if we have a student that moves in with a wheelchair that needs to get through the main office tomorrow, we'll be ripping out the main office next week because they have to be able to get through it. It's an ADA compliance issue.
You need to think about schools and space as a tool for learning. The spaces that we build and that we create are there to serve a purpose for the teachers and the students of this district.
We don't know what the world's going to look like in 10 or 15 years, and so we don't know what education will look like in 10 or 15 years, but we need to model for the kids that this is the world you'll live in, where you're going to have to learn independently and be flexible, and so we need the building and the curriculum to match the world they're going to live in.
We are doing so much with the facility that we have now, but just imagine what we might do in the future with a facility that was designed to meet the needs of students in 2025 and beyond.
All right.
Can we see the other one too?
Yeah.
I just have to say one thing. They pulled me off the roof job. I don't usually wear a heated vest.
It worked so well for the video.
They pulled my hat off and threw me in front of a camera. I would have normally dressed a lot more fancy, but that's okay.
You look good, Tom.
It's all good. As long as the message comes across.
You can fast forward if mine's on here.
Oh yeah, yours was great.
It might be 75 degrees out at the start of school, and I had classrooms that were running 80 and 85 degrees. Conversely, in the winter, we have some classrooms that are pumping cold air. I have people who bring blankets to school. Kids bring blankets to school, so they carry them around all day so that they can wrap up and be warmer.
There is nowhere near enough electrical in the building. Kitchen staff wrote a grant and bought some cooking equipment, and they can't run it because it trips the circuit breakers.
And there is a lot of infrastructure that is coming to end of life.
There's original HVAC throughout the building. There's original ventilation in some of the spaces, which has clearly reached its end of life. So it's no longer working. It's no longer up to the standard codes.
One of the big things that we have a problem with is the univentilators draw direct air, cold air into the building without it being treated. And particularly on cold days, you will absolutely be able to go around and there are rooms that this heating system just can't keep up with.
We just built a new septic system, but the amount of water that is in the cistern isn't adequate for the volume when we have big events.
So people will be in the bathrooms for public events or even after lunch, and the toilets won't flush. People will run down to me and say, Mrs. Pease, the toilets aren't flushing. So I will have to go on the intercom and I will say, just give the water system about 15 minutes, folks, and it will come back on and we will be able to flush the toilets. When kids do their graduation speeches, they mention, there's a lot of great things about Madomic Valley that we'll remember. We'll remember these teachers, we'll remember this, we'll remember this, and we'll always remember Mrs. Pease coming over the intercom and saying, don't flush the toilets right now.
And the other part of this is that we are very close to the state threshold for arsenic in our water. If 0.1 is the limit, we are 0.098, and so we are definitely bumping up against that. We would like to get arsenic treatment in here to make sure that we are keeping the water as safe as possible for the students.
The district has done a really good job at organizing projects across the district that fit within the budget, fit within energy savings, and capitalizing on state rebates. this project is such a larger scale due to the age of the building, the age of the equipment, the areas that are lacking ventilation, that are lacking the proper heating, that it's too large for the district budget to handle.
You know, would it be great to have a brand new building? Yes, but we know that's not gonna happen. So we just wanted to bring it up and something that the community would be proud of.
Well, we have some of the best teachers I've ever worked with in my 25-year career. They are kind, compassionate, caring people that work really hard for these kids. When I went to meet with the student council, they said, could you make the building look how the teachers make us feel?
This is emotional for me. I don't know if people understand that about me, but this is emotional. Like, I could cry right now because I not only care about the building, but I care about the people who are bringing their kids here because I know that they struggle. So how can the facility help us get our kids feeling proud about the space that they're in so that they can move forward with their future?
Those are both really good.
Yes, they are.
Can I share it now?
Well, kudos to Carrie and her team and Ann Ketter. They've done a great job. I think they're setting us up as close for success as what they can do. And, you know, want to thank her for that. And we'll hear more about this later at the full board meeting coming up next. Next one would be to send the revolving renovation loan forward.
I'm gonna make a motion to forward the revolving renovation loans to the full board for approval.
Second.
We've already heard a little bit about them earlier. Does anyone have any other questions or comments on the revolving renovation loans?
I would real quick, what's going on in Union? We have asbestos here too?
Ventilation.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes.
Which
Right,
is,
that's right.
that pretty much would complete the Union Elementary School. That's the last really outstanding piece at Union, is that.
For
And so that'll.
for this renovation loan, but didn't Karen say there was asbestos in Union? Didn't you say
No,
that?
I'm just
Oh.
saying, we
It was
got 3
three-part.
revolving renovation loans,
Oh.
and 1 was for Union and 2 were for the high school.
Oh, right.
But the Union one was for ventilation, the high school was asbestos and.
Water.
And water.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions before we vote? All in favor? That's unanimous. Do you have anything else, Brian?
Negative. Pending any questions from the committee?
Seeing none. Now we'll get into the action item that I added. As you guys know, I cannot rerun. I already kind of said this at the previous committee, but I'll say it again. The way our voting structure works in Washington, which we will be changing for next year, whoever gets the nomination kind of walks into the board structures, and it's assumed that they'll fill the role of whoever they're taking over for. I don't feel right having someone have to step into the role of chair. I'd rather they be able to get here and kind of get their feet wet before doing that. So I am, as of right now, stepping down as the chair of facilities and finance.
So we need to make a nomination?
With that, I have to turn it over to Tom to do the next part.
Thank you. Do you have a motion for chair of the facilities committee?
I nominate Tim Wood.
All right. That was fast.
I hope you want the job.
Okay. It's my understanding for subcommittees, we don't have to have a second, so I guess any discussion?
Is there any
It's
other
the same
nominations?
person I was gonna say.
Any other nominations? We good? Any discussion? Okay.
We'll be sad to, we'll be missing you.
Yes, indeed.
I'll be back.
All right, all in favor? All opposed? Any abstentions? Oh, Tim abstained. Thank you very much. Motion passes.
With that, it's your meeting to adjourn.
Well,
Wait,
We need
Wait.
to,
Tim was the,
I was vice chair, so.
he was
that
the
we
vice
need to-
chair.
Oh, right,
so we have
We
to
need to have a
do
vice
that.
chair.
Well, then you get
Is
to
that
ask
what
that
you were gonna say,
question.
Danny, too?
Would anyone
Didn't
like
mean
to
to
make a
take it away.
nomination for vice chair of facilities?
Kick me to the curb.
Yeah, I've gotten used to it, man. That's not just me.
Cool. Sure.
Can I second that?
You don't have to say
Oh,
it.
that's right. we don't.
I'm sorry, who was it?
Josh nominated Nicole.
Josh, Nicole, okay. Sorry, I was still filling in the last one.
Didn't even know Josh was here, he's so quiet down there. Couldn't see him.
Thinking about all this firefighting.
Firefighting,
He's a firefighter now.
I didn't know that. That's what you've been doing on Monday nights?
Yeah.
You called the vote.
Oh, yes. All in favor of Nicole for vice chair? Opposed? Abstention? Passes. 6-1. 6-0-1. Is there anything else anybody would like to say? It is 6:22. We are adjourned.